Hi, everyone. I'm Heather Davies, and this is the Meniere's Muse podcast. And today, I'm speaking with someone who shares her vestibular journey that started when she was just 18 years old, Julia Savoia. This is part 2 of a 2-part series. If you haven't heard the first episode, you may want to listen to that first. Before we get started, let me share a little bit about Julia. She moved to the U.S. after graduating college in Poland. Here, she met her husband and made the U.S. her home. She is the mother of identical twin 4-year-old girls. She was struggling with multiple chronic illnesses and noticed that nutrition was one of the most effective ways for her to manage and improve her overall health, which led to her becoming a certified holistic nutritionist through the AFPA. She hopes to improve the lives of vestibular warriors through dietary change and support. Please welcome Julia. If you could go back and tell yourself prior to your symptoms one thing, what would you tell yourself?
I would say just keep finding ways to feel better and keep advocating for yourself. And I think it all starts with you loving yourself enough to believe that you deserve to feel better. You know, at least for me it was. At first I chose to be upset, and it's I think natural to be upset when you're diagnosed with something like Meniere's, but just overcoming that and just learning how to just coming to terms with it. This is what it is. I have Meniere's, and learning, finding the best way to help yourself and to take care of yourself. And I would say that, and I would say start journaling earlier. I didn't do that. Like I said, at first I was kind of ignoring it. My doctor did say about alcohol and tobacco. I never smoked, but I did drink in college. Everybody did, and I was like, I wish I wouldn't have done that. I wish I would have journaled my symptoms and journaled everything I'm eating to figure that out faster, because I think I could have potentially felt better earlier on my
Right,
journey.
right. Now, you do the symptom journaling and the nutritional journaling. Do you journal for yourself at all?
Yeah, I do, but it's now I focus on, I don't journal my food intake anymore, because I think I'm at a point where I'm pretty in tune with my body,
Mm-hmm.
that if something shifts, I know what's changed, or I know what trigger caused what symptoms specifically.
Right.
So I don't journal my food intake anymore, but I do the 5-minute journal, I think it's called. I think it's been helping change my mindset too, because it's so easy when you're not feeling well to see everything, just pick on the bad things, right? Or focus on the bad things. And the girls are loud, and I'm not feeling well, and there's a mess in the house, and I didn't cook anything. So but just journaling, it starts with naming 3 things you're grateful for. And at first so hard and awkward, and then now I've been doing that for a couple months consistently, and now I think there should be 10 lines to write things I'm grateful for, because it's not enough. And
Right.
I do a lot of work to focus on the positive and just finding joy and magic in little moments. It doesn't have to be anything big. A fun show on Netflix, of something little that brought me joy, something hilarious my girl said, or a nice gesture from my husband, anything little. I Yeah, it's taken me a lot of work, because I think I was upset for a long time, and angry all the time, and I didn't cultivate gratitude enough in my life.
No, it is something that I think we all need to do. Um,
Mm.
I do a little bit of the gratitude journaling also, but I also
Mhm.
do, I'm trying to think, oh, morning pages. Have you heard of that? Morning pages? Did I break up?
No, I don't know what
Oh,
it is.
okay.
Yes, for a
It
second.
is it's 3 pages of longhand. It's a stream of consciousness writing. Just you don't whatever you
Oh,
think about, you just write.
uh-huh.
And it's so crazy what comes up for you that's just it's your subconscious just pouring out. It's awesome. I
Oh,
mean,
I
if the
love
birds are
that.
tweeting or if you're, a breeze is blowing, if you're outside and you're writing, it's just, I'll have to send that to you. It's awesome.
Oh, I would love that. Thank
Yeah,
you. So
you're welcome.
do you go back later and read what you wrote?
I do, but one of the rules I think it is that you don't do that for a few months. And then you go back and you're
Ah,
like, whoa, I wrote that? It's kind of cool. That's really,
interesting. That
yeah, it's
sounds
really cool.
great.
Yep, and it's called Morning Pages.
Okay, morning
So I'll
pages.
send that to you.
Awesome, thank you.
You're welcome. Well, how can we support you in the community?
Wow, oh, good question. I don't know. I'm gonna be honest, I'm new to the vestibular, community online. I tried joining in college, but I was in a bad place mentally, I think, with my Meniere when I was trying to pretend I didn't have it or trying to pretend there's nothing to be done anyway, so I might as well not think about it.
Right,
There's no cure after all, right? So why even bother? And I remember I joined a couple groups, but when you're in a bad place mentally, it can bring you down. And I remember reading sad, just a lot of difficult stories. And I was at the beginning of my journey, so I didn't know it would kind of eventually, my life would turn out the way it did. But
right.
I remember just this one story of a man or a lady sharing that her husband left her because she was always dizzy, or their relationships breaking up and falling apart, and people losing their jobs, and I remember reading that and I was like just thinking that's going to be my future. And now that I'm feeling, better, and things are kind of, I don't know, looking up for me. I found a way to manage my symptoms. I'm, happily back, and I love connecting with others. It just feels so amazing to hear stories of people who went through the same thing, and
Yeah,
learning from each other, learning what helped others, and just I don't know, it's just so inspiring to me. And so I've read this woman, oh my God, I don't remember her name, on Instagram. She wrote a post that she didn't drive for a very long time because of Meniere's, and then she took a solo road trip and she drove her car for like 5 hours, and she went on a ferry with the car, and she, it was hard for her, but she did it. And I love seeing that. It just
yeah,
makes me so happy. It gives me so much hope for the future. And I think that's what we need more of too. And I think hopefully, for the people who are listening to my story and your story, and others, it's inspiring too, and gives them hope that even though we
absolutely.
can't cure it per se, or we don't have a simple treatment plan for many
Right.
years, we can learn to manage the symptoms, minimize them, and if not minimize them, then we get stronger and better at living with many years. And
Yeah, we figure out how to live our best lives with it. And
absolutely.
I find when we get to the point where we are and we're feeling better, I find that we pull away from those groups when actually we should be pouring into those groups. You know, giving the inspiration and giving hope. And I know that
100%.
yes, because I don't make I'm not big on resolutions, but that is one thing I want to do more is pour into a lot of those groups because there is so much darkness. Like you said, when you went on and you're reading about those stories, and here you are, 18, 19, 20 years old, and learning that, oh my gosh, there's no cure, my life is over. But
Mhm.
in reality, you need to find those stories of hope and hang on to those and know that with the work, the emotional, spiritual, nutritional, and physical work, you can live a pretty decent life. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I love that you said that. And I think that's the interconnectedness for me to the of body, mind, and spirit. It was all of those things, because sometimes people focus so much on nutrition but forget those other things. And it's so important because you can eat a perfect diet, but if you're constantly stuck in fight or flight and your digestion is shut,
Right.
it's not good enough. Or if stress is such a big trigger for so many people, so it's so important to work on your mindset, to work um, on lowering your stress levels. And I think it's important to start with those basics that sound simple, but aren't simple to execute, like 7 to 9 hours of sleep. And I know we're told that all the time, everywhere, but really,
Right.
honestly, how many people can say, yes, every night I do sleep 7 to 9 hours.
Right.
I do drink 8 cups of water. I
Mhm.
do move my body daily. I do my best to lower my stress levels. Oh, the movement, that's another thing I didn't mention. I did vestibular physical therapy, and pretty recently I did that after my girls were born. And that was really eye-opening for me too, because
Yeah.
my whole life I was just avoiding triggers. We moved from Chicago to our town now, which is a small town in Indiana. We're close to the national park. It's a lot of hiking and other fun stuff. It's like really laid back.
Right.
Even when you go downtown, it's a lot of, yeah, just calm and walking. Versus Chicago was just, it was very triggering for me. Just
Right.
lights, yes, people everywhere, just the noises, the smells, everything. So I was like so happy. I was telling him I'm avoiding all my triggers. When I'm working out, I always take the modifications. And he was kind of laughing at me and he said, but you should also challenge yourself. You should challenge your vestibular system. And he was like, while avoiding traffic and noise, yes, that's good.
Right.
But just trying to challenging yourself physically, it's important. And that kind of shocks me a little bit because I remember I love yoga and Pilates. And I remember just trying or avoiding that because I was a kid. There are those poses where you're on one leg. And I was like, I'll never do that. So I was avoiding that. And then he was like, but that's exactly why you should be doing that because
Right.
it's challenging your vestibular system and it's gonna, improve your balance. So he showed me a lot of exercises. And again, a lot of them make you dizzy. I don't know. Did you do vestibular physical therapy?
I did until I lost my job, and then my vestibular therapist was awesome though. He gave me a bunch of exercises because he knew I wouldn't be able to
Mhm.
come back. And then I found some online, but I will tell you it my biggest one was the grocery store and the aisles.
Yes.
But I think that was the best thing I could do was holding on to my husband in a cart and going down and looking at one, focusing on one product and then taking a couple steps and focusing on another product over here and just doing that. And I was so sick first couple times I did it, but the more I did it, the better I got. And
Mhm.
yeah, I think VRT is it's just so important.
Yes. Oh, I love that you said that. Yes, I had the same thing with the grocery store. I hate going grocery shopping. I'm fine being outside. It's just, yeah, like you said, I don't know if it's the lights that are there or the fact that
Noise and
the roads are narrow or yeah,
yeah,
something about the grocery stores. But I remember when, during COVID, when they just started the restrictions, we did all the groceries. We got Instacart or whatever. We had the
right,
groceries delivered, and that like I didn't realize how much regularly going made me better. Or
right.
going for the first time after a couple months. Oh, woo, I was dizzy. I was
Yeah,
not used to that. So. Like I said, a lot of the exercises from physical therapy had the same effect, like where you look at a point, like something not moving, and you move your head. And at first, that just made me so dizzy. And I was so upset with him. I was like, I'm trying to avoid being dizzy, not being more dizzy.
right.
And he was like, but just wait, like do it consistently for a
Yeah,
while and you're gonna see.
yeah. That
And he was
neuroplasticity,
right. Hmm. Yes.
huge. It is huge. Let me ask you, Julia, what is one thing living with a vestibular disorder has taught you?
To give myself more grace. To give myself more grace, to not try so hard to be oh, I love that.
Yeah,
Again, it comes back a little bit to the perfectionism and pleasing people. And I don't have to be trying so hard all the time. I don't have to have a perfectly clean house at all times. And I don't even have to have a super productive day every day. That's fine. Some days, all I do is just hang out with my girls and I'll make something to eat. And that's all I did. And,
yeah,
and that's fine. And just, yes, showing myself grace and more understanding and love and compassion.
yeah, yeah. It's it takes time too to forgive yourself and to move into that space. for sure.
for sure.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Oh, how can we find you?
Oh, yes. So far I have an Instagram page. It's called Managing Menieres, Managing that Menieres. And I am working, I think I should have a Facebook page soon. And I'm thinking actually about having a YouTube channel too, because those videos on Instagram can only go for 90 seconds. And I
Right.
recently made a video about what I was eating because somebody asked me, like, make a video about exactly what you're eating. And I didn't realize it was only 90 seconds. And I was like, just trying to talk so fast and just, yeah. So I think it would be a kind of a cool thing. And maybe I was thinking
Yeah.
about doing an episode each, like focusing on a different aspect of nutrition, focusing on how blood sugar uh, is linked to Meniere's and what you can do to work on blood sugar balance and hormonal imbalances. And yeah, we know like 1/3 of Meniere's cases have autoimmune origin.
I
So
know. So
so that's
interesting.
that's very, yes, I agree. That's very interesting. That's something that's often overlooked. But I know a lot of people have, like I do. I have another autoimmune disorder. I have lichen sclerosis, so that's an autoimmune disorder. So I know that so that my Meniere's is probably has this, there's a link there. So it would make sense to do, for a lot of people who also have other autoimmune disorders, it makes sense to follow the autoimmune protocol or Wall's protocol for a while and see if they feel better.
I think that's a great idea. If you do that, let me know because I would love to update things and put the link in here as well as share it on my page because it is something that we need out there.
That would be
And
great.
we have a
Thank you.
need Julia. Get that YouTube page out there, the YouTube
Awesome.
channel.
I'm very excited to do that.
Yes. And do you have a website also?
No, I'm working on it, but
Okay.
yes, I will soon. I promise
Okay.
I will. I want to do, I want to also do one-on-one coaching because I did that for other clients, not people, not nobody with many years
Right.
though. But I think I could really be an asset, hopefully, because I've been through what somebody who's whatever, whether newly diagnosed or suffering for a
Yeah.
while is going through. I get it. I get that there are days when you don't have the energy to cook. I get that it's not always easy sticking with whatever certain diet, and I also know that different things work for different people, and that can be very overwhelming,
Yeah.
right? If you just go online and start Googling what
It's too much.
worked.
There's too much out there.
I agree. I remember reading, yeah, there's a lot of, and obviously other, like we keep repeating that, but different things work for different people.
Right.
But there's all we have is like anecdotal evidence or anecdotal, just random stories of women saying they noticed a change during their premenstrual period. So they did that. And so I tried a little bit of everything before I really um did the elimination diet. I then started getting very organized about it, and I got down to the root of it.
Yeah.
And it's
That takes a lot of time, but it's worth it too, especially if you're a foodie. You know, to take that time, just do it now and just eliminate all that food that they say to eliminate and slowly just bring it back in. It's worth it because you'd be surprised how much stuff you can tolerate.
yes,
You
and
know?
it's often healthy foods too, which surprises, and I think a lot of people don't realize or realize how important nutrition is. People think of dieting as a way to lose weight, and that's all there is to it. And they think, people, I know almonds, for example, are a common migraine trigger. And
Yeah,
people say, but almonds are so healthy. How can you not be eating almonds? And it's, what's healthy for one person. I mean, they are generally healthy, but they can
right,
also be a big migraine trigger. So
right. Yeah,
it's,
I
I
can't have
think,
almonds.
oh, interesting.
Yes, and I just found a new trigger the other day, grapefruit. Red grapefruit.
Grapefruit.
Oh, so disappointed. And it's a
Yeah.
new trigger. And so
Interesting.
yeah, it put me down for a whole day. with
Wow.
migraine symptoms. I was like, and it was the only different thing I'd had. And I was like, oh, grapefruit. Okay.
It's always such a bummer when you find that out. But at the same time, it's such a powerful information, right? Knowing that. And
Yeah.
I think it is hard though. It's hard if you love something so much and then you can't have it. And
No.
that can lead for a lot of people to just like binges, right? Or like you don't have it for a long time and then you have a day where you just go crazy on it. But I'm not big on restriction and, trying to be so, yeah, like so strict with your diet and just not eating too many random things. But I think Dr. Will Cole said that if you keep eating foods that hurt you, it's like staying in a toxic relationship. And it is true. If you do know something hurts you
Yeah.
and just causes damage in your body, then
It's
I mean,
true.
it's as hard as it is, it's just best to cut it out.
It is. It is. It is true. But with a good thought, even if you do eliminate it, a few months down the line, try to bring it back in again and see, because your body does change. It does change.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely, for sure. And it's like you said, maybe you can eventually find a way to enjoy a little bit of it too. Yeah, like I said, with alcohol, then again, I'm not, convincing anybody to drink more more alcohol or any, but
Right.
I didn't, I couldn't have too much, even a little bit would cause an attack, but after a while I can have a little bit here and there and be fine. So
Right.
I plan doing that with dairy. I've been feeling so good not eating dairy for a long time. But there are also different types of dairy, right? I know that aged cheeses are common trigger for people with migraines. And we know, right, the migraines and Meniere's are linked, and a lot of people have both. I know you have both, right?
Right. I do.
So
And I can
so
tolerate them in very small doses. Like, yeah. And I don't eat a lot of cheese, but I miss it. But if I'm having a
yeah.
glass of wine and there's fruit and cheese there, it's kind of hard not to.
Me too. Yeah. That's why I'm saying I'm doing so great with that dairy, but then again, maybe I can tolerate little pieces. Like I had feta on my Greek salad, and
Right.
I was fine. It didn't cause any. But then I had like an aged cheese for Christmas. There's like a cheese board, and I had a little bit, and that caused the ear problems again, and feeling a
Yes.
little bit
Just the
off.
salt,
So it's
sodium, maybe.
yes. Oh, that's
Yeah. Yeah. I'm the same
olives.
way.
Yeah. Can't
Oh,
have too many olives. I miss olives. I can just have a couple, but I
we
miss
just
them.
we just got back from wine country in Oregon. And so there we went to a lot of wine tastings, and there was always
Mm,
fresh olive oil and bread and seasonings. And I was just like, no,
uh,
I want to feel good tomorrow. So yeah, it's
that's
so
rough.
hard.
Yes. It's
Oh,
always the balance. Either
it
you treat
is.
yourself today and pay for it tomorrow,
It's so true.
or yeah, but it's usually for me at least like usually it's not worth it. I'd still do it, and I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you that I'm perfect. I'm not. Like for Christmas, I had wine and I had cheese, even though I knew it wasn't a good idea, and I woke up feeling awful. But I always try to think, this is why you're eating so healthy most of the time.
That's
It's
right.
it's it's a reminder.
What did you say you had at Christmas?
Wine and cheese,
Wine and
and the funny part is, I was throwing the Christmas, party, so I picked them. So that's also that's even worse.
yes. That is funny. I haven't when I went plant-based in 2021, I was looking forward to Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving is where I just want sausage stuffing and then all the veggies.
Yep.
That's my little vice. So it is 90% stay on your nutrition, 90% and 10% if you want to go off, okay. It's that, not being that restrictive and living, you know.
Sure. Oh, of course. I always laugh when people find out I'm a nutritionist and then they see me eating something, bad, and they're
Oh,
like, "Oh my God, here is a nutritionist eating ice cream." And but I think like you said, it's important to enjoy your life too a little bit. I mean, it's all about balance, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So that doesn't mean McDonald's French fries and broccoli.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, okay, let's see. Are you ready for whirlwind questions?
Sure.
Okay. Let's see here. The first one, fill in the blank. Vestibular disorders are.
The first word that popped into my mind was just difficult. It's a journey. It teaches you so much about yourself and causes you to become so much stronger than you ever thought you would have to be.
So true. It is. It's transformative in a lot.
Mhm. Yes.
You feel your symptoms coming on, Julia. What is one thing, the first thing that you do when you feel your symptoms coming on?
I lay down.
You lay down?
I lay down. And I know a lot of or I do some grounding first, I guess, before laying down. I'll sit on the floor and I like to put my back against the wall or something sturdy, like a sturdy chair, and putting my feet on the ground and touching the ground, sitting on the ground and feeling where the floor is in space.
Hmm.
Or I guess I used to when I used to get that rotational vertigo um a lot. And I try to focus on a non-moving spot and just staying calm. And that's not easily done. Anybody who has Meniere's knows that once those symptoms start, your nervous system is
Tightens.
activated too, and you, or at least for me, like my heart was always pounding, I was always sweating, and it felt, yeah, and just learning to stay calm throughout the episode or not being stuck in this dizzy, anxious, dizzy cycle, because that's also hard. I find that it's very easy with Meniere's to just be stuck in this vicious cycle. With movement too, right? You
Hmm.
don't move because you're dizzy, and lack of movement makes your vestibular system weaker. So you move less, and it becomes harder. And the same with anxiety and with stress. You obviously get very stressed out and anxious at the beginning of an episode, and then stress makes it worse.
Yeah,
So just trying, yes, coming back to your question,
that's okay.
yes, I would sit, I would try, do my best to stay calm, trying to do deep breathing. I use affirmations a lot, which I know it isn't everybody's cup of tea, but I do,
No, I
tell
do it
myself,
too.
yeah, okay. I will like put my hand on my chest and tell myself, you survived every single one of your episodes and you're gonna survive this one too. It is okay. You can just relax. It's gonna just wait until it passes. And usually when I later on when I learned to calm down, I noticed that it would end faster. So after, even when my vertigo would stop, I usually would have that hangover, tired feeling, and I would sleep. And I found that sleep was really was the best medicine
Yeah,
for that.
absolutely. I love that you said that for sure. And the affirmations are not for everybody, but they do. I never experienced anxiety before the vestibular symptoms, and I'll wake up at 2 or 3 in the morning with a panic attack for no reason, and
Mhm,
and I have to use those to calm myself down. So I get that.
mhm,
Find what works.
mhm.
For
Yes, and that's another thing for me. Like I said, I struggle with anxiety a lot and with panic attacks. And sometimes it's hard to say whether it's my anxiety causing those symptoms or whether it's Meniere's or whether anxiety is triggering my Meniere's or if Meniere's, and I mean, I guess it doesn't matter that much at this point, but I do, yes, I do get panic attacks too. And just, it's not the same, but just trying to teach your body to stay calm and do that, whatever helps you. For me, it's, yeah, the grounding and the breath work, and
right?
it's very helpful.
Absolutely. What's one thing that people usually get wrong about you?
I think people think I'm much more extroverted than I really am. I'm an introvert. I'm at home mostly with my girls, and I'm perfectly fine, to be honest. That's not to say I don't like hanging out with friends. We have really cool friends and family, and I love seeing everybody and hanging out. But then I do, and I also wonder that too a lot. Is it my disorders that make me that way, that make me want to crave this peace and this just calmness and yeah,
I would
it's
say
hard to
yes,
say,
it
but
is. If you ask me, I'd say yes, it is because I was the same way.
yeah.
Prior to my vestibular symptoms, I was outgoing and doing this and busy, busy, busy. And since these
Mhm.
symptoms have come on, I get fueled up by peace and quiet and calm and being by myself and or with my daughter,
Mhm.
yeah, yeah. I like people too, but I think I'm an
Mhm. Yes.
introverted extrovert.
Yes, I read. Yes, that's exactly what I am too. Yes, I can go to a party and be, super chatty and engage with everybody,
Right.
but then I feel so exhausted
Rains,
afterwards. Like
yes.
people say you need to charge your social battery. That's how I
Right.
feel. And you would
Yeah.
never tell that because at the party it might seem like I'm just having a ball, and I am. But at the
Right.
same time, I do love my quiet time alone. Like I love where I am in my life. I love just enjoying those simple little things, taking a walk, just going outside, sitting on the ground with my girls, play with some leaves. Just that just really, like I said, fuels me too. Like that's just
Yes.
the
And
the,
I think the
the
girls,
peace.
they probably bring you back to the present more than anything else in the world. I know that I find that with my daughter. If I'm got too many things going on in my head, she'll say one thing to me and it just brings me right back down to where I should be. Um,
Absolutely. And it's the routine, right? And everything. Yeah, doing the same thing every day. For a lot of people that may be kind of boring or whatever, not stimulating. But I found a lot of peace in it too, just doing the same thing with them and knowing what time we eat lunch and what time, knowing what's gonna happen. And yes, watching them, it's everything. It's again, I love being a mom. Like I mentioned, didn't know whether it was in the cards for me when I was so dizzy. I, I really, for a while, I thought it's just not going to happen for me. And then now watching them, and I'm just so lucky to have them. They really do make you rethink everything in your life. Because
yeah.
when they were little, like before I had them, like I said, I was fine just doing and not that there's anything wrong with being a translator. I just didn't love it. And having the growth made me, because you can't tell them you can be anything you want and just to reach for your dreams, and at the same time not do anything about your own dreams.
Right. Because they watch everything.
Yeah, yeah, you have to model that. So that's
Absolutely.
that's been cool. I think they gave me a lot of strength and courage, and I want to be strong and courageous for them, and I want them to see me, you know hopefully, yeah, reach my dreams and launch my career and make it happen for myself.
Yes, we want that for you. We're going to watch you do that too.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
What is your favorite meal?
Oh, that's a tough question. Oh my gosh, I love food. This is tough. Okay, I'm gonna say sushi. I love sushi. And that's again triggering, unfortunately, for because of the soy sauce and the MSG and a lot of it. But I do like um sushi,
I do too.
fortunately.
I do too. My favorite's a sweet potato roll, but I do like sushi. I know. What's the last show you binged and loved?
Oh my goodness, I binged so many shows. I binged Wednesday Adams, or is it called Wednesday? Just Wednesday on
Wednesday.
Netflix.
Oh, it's so
And I'm
good.
Oh my goodness, I'm obsessed with the Addams Family. Me and my husband, we love Halloween, so we watch the original, or not the one from the 90s, the
Right.
two movies every Halloween. We know that we quote it to each other all the time, and I think the actors did such a wonderful job on it. I was so into it,
Yeah.
um, and I love that I love the idea of the school for the children that were different. I don't
I
know.
know.
That
No,
was
it was,
so cool that they were so unique. And we're trying also hard to fit in within the society. And I love the idea that they had their own unique gifts and they got to develop there. Thought that was
right.
really cool.
It was really good. If you haven't seen Wednesday, you have to see Wednesday. My daughter talked me and I was like, oh, I don't want to watch this, but I'm so happy I did. It was so good. I just couldn't get enough. I just wanted more.
Hmm. Yeah, me too. I thought at first it was kind of like a show for teenagers, maybe,
Right,
because it was about teenagers, but
right.
I ended up really enjoying it.
Cool. What is your favorite book?
Oh my goodness. My favorite book. Oh my goodness, who would I say? I would say maybe 100 Years of Solitude. Is that what it's called
I haven't heard that one.
in
100 Days of
English
Solitude.
by Gabriel Garcia Marquez? That
Ah,
was one of them. But oh my goodness, I let me think about it. Why can't I suddenly think of any books? It's as if I like didn't read. Oh, actually, a book I read recently that I really enjoyed was it's called Deeply Holistic. I don't know if you know that book.
I don't.
It's it's about how to just heal your body, and the author goes through different systems in your body, and she talks a lot about Chinese medicine and Ayurvedic practices, and she will go through every system in the body and will explain or will give like simple self-care tips on
Cool.
how to improve. And it's really fun. It's in very lay terms. It's not anything too medical or too difficult. It's just something you yeah, something I really enjoyed.
Awesome. I'm gonna have to look into that. I love that.
It's a great book.
I think we constantly need to keep feeding ourselves things like that, to
Yes,
continue healing. Since there is no cure, we have to continue to progressively get better on our own.
absolutely. I actually was surprised how helpful Instagram was in that because I didn't have Instagram because I tend to like compare myself to others, and when you have a chronic illness that's already hard and seeing it seems like everybody's doing better, I was kind of like I don't want to have Instagram. Plus I didn't want to, I guess I was worried I'm gonna, instead of enjoying being in the moment, trying to just take a perfect picture of the moment and make it
Right.
seem perfect on social media.
Yeah.
And but after I joined Instagram, I was shocked how much positivity there was. I follow a lot of psychologists and therapists and just a lot of people living with chronic illnesses sharing uh, whether helpful tips or positivity. And I just filled my Instagram with just that, with
I love
just
it.
things that bring me joy. So every time I go in there, um, I learn, I laugh, I feel inspired, I feel hopeful, and I
Yeah.
love it. And I hopefully I can be a part of that for other people too.
Oh,
Hopefully
you
I can
are.
share, useful information. Ah, thank you.
I think, I used to go to Pinterest for my therapy, for my
Uh-huh.
mental
Yeah.
health. And I think
Yeah.
Instagram is compared to that a lot lately because there is so much positivity. So I'm so glad you mentioned that.
Mm, I agree. I love that. It's been such a cool experience.
Wow, it's cool. What is one thing that completely relaxes you?
A bath. No, no, I don't even have to think about that one. I love taking baths and yeah, just putting some Epsom salt and lighting a candle and just I feel like my body relaxes so much. Or maybe it's because I grew up by a lake. We always went swimming in the summer, and that was such a fun time for me. I always loved swimming and being in the water. So yeah, definitely a bath. Nice long bath.
Yes, I love a lavender Epsom salt bath as well.
Oh,
Yeah, so
so
nice.
nice.
What is one movie you could watch over and over and never tire of?
I love actually. I love that movie. I love that movie
Oh,
so much. Love.
oh, I love that too.
I know
Yes. I
it's
just
a
watched it
Christmas
last week.
movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh yeah, I watched it right before Christmas. I always do. My husband always hates it because he doesn't like Hugh Grant and he
My
thinks
husband
it's
doesn't either. What is that about?
what is it with guys hating love actually? It's a great movie. I think it's and it always makes me cry that the real scenes, especially at the beginning and at the end, where they show people hugging at the airport, and how I love that the message and that love is everywhere and the different forms of love.
Yeah.
I love them.
Aw.
Yeah.
What is your most used tool in your vestibular toolbox?
I'm gonna say, I guess in the early stages of my Meniere's, I would say journaling was everything. And I know I mentioned that before, but I just think it's so helpful. Just seeing that sometimes you think that something's good or bad, but when you see it on paper, I love seeing data. I want to see it's, all written down. And when you see every time I was dizzy every day when I had dairy, it's just become so obvious. Or I mean elimination diet too, but
Yes.
just writing it all down. Or I didn't realize how much stress affected me. I would just
Yeah.
thought, yeah, I'm stressed out, whatever. We're all stressed out. There's not much you can do. And but then every day when I marked my stress levels on, like, I had this little scale from 1 to 10, and when I marked it like higher, I always also marked like vertigo or dizziness and earfulness in my symptoms. And
Right.
so that was definitely very,
Well,
very
we'll look for
helpful.
that symptom journal on Instagram.
Yes, I
The
think so.
last question, Julia, is what are you extremely grateful for today?
For my husband. My husband has been my best friend, and I love him so much. We have our own little world. We have our own little jokes and our little sayings. And I know that no matter how bad things will get or whatever life throws our way, we'll have each other. And I'm just, I'm beyond grateful for that. We've been together for almost 9 years now. And it's been just, no matter how bad things were, or no matter what happened, bad or good, um, we've always supported each other. And he's been extremely supportive of me, becoming a nutritionist, and always encouraged me to follow my dreams. And yeah,
That's
thank you, Chris.
fantastic. It has been so much fun and a pleasure having you on today. I've learned so much,
Thank you.
and we'll have
I
to have
had
you
a
on
great
again once you get
time.
your coaching thing up and running.
Sounds wonderful. I'd love to talk about it more. And thank you so much, Heather. And thank you for spreading awareness and for everything you do for the vestibular community.
Thank you, Julia, for sharing so much of your story with us. If you would please share this with a vestibular warrior or a loved one of a warrior that you believe may benefit, that would be great. We need to spread awareness about these disorders and reach warriors to let them know there is a community to lean on. We don't want anyone feeling alone. Thank you for being here. If you would like to reach Julia, please reach her on her Instagram page. If you would like to reach me, Heather Davies, please find me on Instagram or email me at menieresmuse@gmail.com. For more information on vestibular disorders, please visit the VITA website at www.vestibular.org. See you next week, warriors.